The 8 most unsafe cars. Hello and welcome back to MIA Luxury Cars. In this episode, we'll look at the top 8 most unsafe cars ever built. Number 8. Chevy Camaro ZL1 1LE. The Chevrolet Camaro 1LE is a muscle car that has a 5-star safe rating. But how come this is on my list? Well, our European brothers and sisters can't even own one piece of these because the aerodynamic bodywork is too dangerous for pedestrians. Impaled by one of these bad boys wielding 650 pounds of horse spurs would be a pretty sick way to go. European legislators believe that this car should be classified as a weapon. So instead of removing the massive front splitter and dive planes, Chevrolet Chase decided not to release the car in Europe at all. Number 7. Honda Civic. Honda Civic is one of the most secure vehicles on the road. So what's the deal with it being on the list? Because the Civic is one of the most sought after vehicles on the black market. As a result, it is always at risk of being stolen. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau annual Hot Wheels report, the Honda Civic was the most stolen vehicle. Part of the reason, at least for older models, is that they didn't come standard with as many anti-thief features as we see in cars today. But what makes them especially appealing to the car thieves is that they are simple to disassemble and sell for individual parts, which is far less risky than trying to sell a stolen car at a whole piece. Number 6. Any black car. This next vehicle isn't a specific model but rather a color. According to the Monash University studies, black cars are 12% more likely to be involved in a collision, followed by gray, silver, and blue. White cars had the lowest crash risk of any color, followed by cream, yellow, and beige. If you're thinking that darker color cars are more likely to be involved in accidents because they're harder to see and distinguished from their surroundings when driving at night, you'd be correct. Number 5. Hyundai Accent. The 2014 Hyundai Accent sedan was a pump of wheels, according to the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, as it had the highest death rate of any car that year. This sounds more dramatic than it is because the car had generally good safety ratings. However, the total number of deaths per million registered vehicles is 104, which is more than 3 times the national average of 30. And while the 2014 Accent received excellent ratings for safety in 3 car crash tests, we fell short in the side impact test and small overlapped front test. The test is intended to simulate and what happens when our vehicle's front left corner collides with another vehicle or an object, such as a tree or a unity pole. However, if you intend to carry your front driver's side wheel in your lap, try to avoid colliding with anything in your Hyundai Accent. Number 4. The Dodge Avenger. The 2008 Dodge Avenger replaced everyone's uncle's car, the Dodge Stratus Dodge. The Avenger was also marketed as the Chrysler Sebring and the Chrysler 200, but they are all essentially the same vehicle. However, the Avenger and Chrysler 200 share another questionable distinction. They are tied for the highest driver death rate, with 67 deaths per million registered vehicles, with the Avengers having 260. In comparison, the overall health rate per million vehicles is around 30. As a result, this is roughly 4 times higher than the average. Number 3. 1992 Golf CL with a 5-cylinder and the back of the car, but it is so far behind the rear axle and even the Number 1. Chevy Corvette. For someone entering a high-end sports car market, the Corvette has always been a lot of power, typically associated with men going through a midlife crisis. However, if you haven't driven a high-end sports car before, you'll turn your midlife crisis into an end-of-life crisis because the Corvette has the highest fatal accident rate of any sports car in almost any car. With 9.1 billion vehicle miles, it is nearly 4 times as many as the average for all vehicles. There are a few theories as to why, but one is that the Corvette is the first high-end sports car that people with expandable cash flow tend to buy. And because they aren't always the most experienced drivers, perhaps they're trying to compensate for something that causes them to lose control of a car with that much power.